Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, August 6, 2014. I'm Jimmy Prince for the details. Any party that is to take government in St. Vincent and the Grenadines must have a sure and a certain position on the Argyle International Airport project. This was stated by leader of the Democratic Republican Party, DRP, Anisha Batiste, while speaking to SVG-TV News today. Batiste says the DRP is not only in support of the idea and the construction of the international airport at this time, but is already researching and working on proposals as to how the new airport can really work for the benefit of Vincentians.
Recognize that the sooner we get it finished, the better it would be for us as a people. The longer it takes, the more expensive it's going to be. And secondly, we recognize that it mustn't just work, but it must work as best as possible for the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are scheduled to make a third tour. We've already been speaking to Miss Richardson to find out when is the best time. So we have shown interest, we have it documented.
But he says it is extremely critical that plans are discussed and put in place for the development of this country based on the contribution that would be made by the Argyle International Airport.
The fact is, we have a government who started the process, well, not in terms of research, because we hear of other governments that have done it before, but they actually started the project, and that is commendable. And I am saying, any party that is to take government going forward must have a sure and certain position for the international airport, and more so in really bringing unique ideas to the table about how it is going to work. And we have some really exciting ideas about that. Look, if we are to go forward in agriculture, in tourism, in any other industry-based area in the country, we have to have access, air access, that is going to allow us to ship and export our produce in a quick way, an effective way. And we have to also be able to serve the interest in our region and elsewhere where air access is concerned. And this is what the International Airport project is about. I can't see why we would be against that.
This country's youngest political party, the Democratic Republican Party, says it is working tirelessly to go into the next general elections with a full slate of candidates. Leader of the DRP, Anisha Batiste, told SVG-TV News earlier today that her party is in a constant state of preparation for the next general elections, constitutionally due in 2015. Batiste says the DRP is currently scrutinizing and screening persons for candidacy for the party.
Working very hard to ensure that we do, because we think it is very important for us to be able to field an entire slate of candidates, of 15 candidates, for Vincentians to see that we are a team that can take government.
All right.
Yes.
How confident is the DRP going into the next general election?
I would say we are very confident. I think we are in a very good place to propose ourselves as the alternative to the current government. We are a mature thinking party with a vision and a focus that has the people at the center, and not the constant cursing and fighting and denigrating of each other and your opponent. We believe that it is very important to remember that politics is about the people and about serving the people, and therefore we take the opportunity to tell them what our programs are, what our ideas, and also to make suggestions for changes and for improvement to the situation, and not just find ourselves getting involved in the constant crosstalk and arguments and over petty things, if you ask me, in many cases.
But he says the DRP is the only real political alternative in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
And I heard you saying to beat Ralph, you have to be better than Ralph. Meaning that the NDP or any political party has to bring something better, or has to believe that we should be in a better position than Ralph Gonsalves and his party to really take government in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Do you think that the DRP is in such a position?
We are in such a position, and we are continuing to sell ourselves to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines as being in such a position. When I say to beat Ralph, you have to be better than Ralph. I mean, you can't be criticizing the ULP government and its leadership for certain things and then find yourselves behaving in the same manner or in ways that are similar. It is hypocritical, it's a contradiction, and it doesn't paint you as better. I am saying, in order to be better, I have to be focused on what can I do differently? How can I serve the people? And that's one of our watch phrases, new hope from serving the people. We believe in keeping the people at the center of our focus and our vision so that we can talk to them about what we will do differently.
The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is said to be consistent with the payments as it relates to the country's national debt. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves made a disclosure while responding to a question on the national debt at Monday's news briefing. Dr. Gonsalves says the government is making it and is not in default.
The national, the up-to-date numbers, I could get them precisely for you, and to get the actual servicing for the year itself, I could get Mr. Edwards to give you the numbers just off. We publish them every single year in the estimates, and I can give you them, which is the GDP of the country is almost $2 billion, so 74% of that, and you will see, you know, $1.9 billion is the GDP, roughly, nominally, at the moment, and you will see. And we have different days in the months on which we pay for different loans. Some of them bunch up on a particular day, and we make the payments.
The Ministry of Health has been responding to the recent outbreak of the Ebola virus in West Africa and has provided the relevant stakeholders with an update on the Ministry's preparedness and response to the Ebola situation. Representatives from the Passport and Immigration Department, the Ministry of National Security, and the Ministry of Tourism, representatives of medical schools were over the past few days updated on the present global situation and the risk level in this country. According to the Ministry of Health, the plan of action includes an immediate risk assessment, enhanced public health surveillance, increased public awareness, the management of suspected cases, safe management of corpses, resource mobilization, psychosocial support, monitoring and evaluation, and reporting. During the discussion, those present also made a commitment to collaborate with the Ministry of Health to enhance surveillance regarding the deadly virus. In related news, despite the recent attention by international media on the Ebola outbreak, which has affected parts of West Africa, some Vincentians contend that they are not receiving enough information from local authorities with regard to the Ebola virus. They say that they do not know enough about the disease, and some are of the opinion that more needs to be done to sensitize the public as it relates to the Ebola virus. Earlier today, SVG-TV News took to the streets of Kingstown, where members of the public shared their views.
I don't know anything about that, is it? I'm looking forward to hear what is going on, but I hear it's dead with this disease.
I don't know anything about that.
Have you been seeing anything on international news?
Not to my knowing, no.
Okay, and you obviously have not been hearing anything from our local authorities, from Ministry of Health?
No.
What happened now is like the summertime, and around summertime they just have a lot of summer programs and stuff like that. So now is a good time that the health could come in and actually teach persons about the virus. Catch everybody while they can catch them now, and there's a saying that if you target kids go and spread a lot of message. So I think right now is a good time, and now school is out, so basically they could use the summer programs to actually start.
And as the Ebola discussion continues, members of the general public are of the opinion that the local health authorities are not in a position to adequately deal with an outbreak of the Ebola virus here. These views were expressed by some amidst strategic plans set out by the Ministry of Health to effectively respond to the Ebola situation in the event the disease makes it to St. Vincent. However, recently the Ministry of Health says the risk of Ebola development into a serious public health problem in this country is very small.
I think if we have an outbreak in St. Vincent, the authority is in no position to take care of it.
Why you say that?
The health sector is not up to standard at all.
Period. Our country and government and hospital is not equipped to deal with anything such. But the local people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they are descent from Africa. And anything that you can think in the lines of cure from herbs, they know it. And all the herbs, they know it. And they're going to use something to meet something that they need.
Well, personally, I don't think that we are quite equipped for such a disease and things like that. But we need to go into research to find out more about this disease, because it's something seems to be spreading, and we need to find a solution towards it, just in case, because one or two may slip through the cracks, you know. So we need to do something. We need to find a solution somehow.
3 houses are expected to be handed over at Fancy this Friday, August the 8th, to persons who are affected by the December 24th trough system. And the Prime Minister, Dr. Al Gonzalez, who will be celebrating his birthday on that day, says he's very much anticipating the occasion.
Take a ride. Come out and think. And I'm saying here, I hope the people of Fancy will have some madongo for me and you to eat, some madongo dumpling. Alright, so that there's a, well, it's my birthday. You know, so I asking them privately, I'm asking them over the radio, and I don't want them to say, well, boy, you'll put on more weight, but you notice I've been losing some pounds. Slowly, quietly, and I'm trying to keep myself better because I'm preparing for when the comrade ring the bell.
As the Central Water and the Sewage Authority fine-tunes plans for International Coastal Cleanup 2014, Vincentians are being told that volunteerism can make a difference in the development of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. International Coastal Day will this year be commemorated under the theme 2014 International Coastal Cleanup. Volunteers can make a difference. And the persons are being urged to come forward and join in cleaning up the coastline of this country next month. Public Relations Officer at the CWSA, Joan Ryan, stressed the work that volunteers can do for the development of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Over the years, we have cleaned from Fancy all the way down to Chateaubriand. The largest volunteer effort that we have had was 500 in 2009, I think. We have had 300 and something last year. We had just over 300 volunteers. The year before, it was the same thing. This year, I would like for us as community leaders to push for even more volunteers, because the more people that are aware of and that are involved in what we're doing, the more the message will spread and filter down throughout the community.
Ryan says the Water Authority over the years has noticed a large number of youths participating in the activity.
And this is a good sign. This is a good sign. Not that the older heads cannot change, but we have to be able to pass down that responsibility for our environment to the youth. And that is why I want us as volunteer leaders in our communities to go back and to try and mobilize as many persons as we possibly can get to become involved in this effort.
Meanwhile, Vincentians are being reminded of the importance of keeping this country clean all year round and not just on special occasions. PRO at the CWSA, Joan Ryan, says if persons do not practice to do so now, SVG can find itself in serious trouble.
We have to ensure that we continue to clean our communities, that we continue to clean our countries. And even as volunteers get involved, the message from international the Ocean Conservancy is not trashing our seas, but the trash usually begins on land. You know that. The trashing usually begins on land. And if you follow the drains, if you follow the runoff when the rain comes, you would understand what I'm talking about. You see the blockage in the different areas. You see the drains are blocked. You see the water flowing on the streets. You see the damage to land and property because of our own habits, because of our own disposal practices.
A young man from the leeward side of mainland St. Vincent is calling on Vincentians to turn away from wicked ways as he has envisioned the serious times ahead. Akeem Let, while speaking to SVG-TV News today, says he has been having visions of rising seas and is calling on persons to listen and continue to pray for repentance. Let speaks of his close relationship with God and says at this time God is getting angry.
Wake believers, wake. See what about to come up in every village. Let we watch and pray so that we will be able to escape, run to the mountain. God want to turn from our dirty ways and do the thing which are right. To the love of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, my name is Akeem Let. God want to turn from our dirty ways and do the thing which are right. With God all things are possible and God is able. God moving in mysterious way, wonders the family planted was upon the sea and he rise upon the storm. In the presence of the Lord there is fullness of joy, and we love God with all my heart. As God fear, there is no man could be against you. So God wants you to do the thing which are right.
While first runner-up in this year's Miss SVG pageant, Carla Jellizo, failed to secure any of the top positions at the Miss JC's Queen pageant, Jellizo is satisfied with her performance over the weekend in Antigua. In an interview with SVG-TV News today, Jelizo described her experience as a great one.
I must say that this pageant was very hectic. Even the morning of the show, we were up from about 5 o'clock. We had to do a TV interview, which began at 7:30, and it went up until 9 o'clock. And after that, we had a rehearsal. We learned 2 routines that day from 9 until minutes to 2, and we had to be back at the venue for 4:30, so it was very hectic. We had a lot of appearances to make and a lot of outings, and so it was very tiring, but it was a great experience because I was competing with the region's finest, and I was happy to represent St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Jelizo further spoke of our performance in the pageant.
Made an introductory appearance, which was not judged. Then we had swimwear. My swimwear was made by Shanice Mears. It was beautiful. And then we had talent. I did a calypso, Mama's Cry, which was Chanel Mackenzie's song from last year. It was well received. Both of those categories were well received. And then, of course, my evening wear, I wore a beautiful cobalt blue gown made by Miss Volita Tucker. That segment was well received as well. And then we had the elimination based on those 3 categories. So from 12 contestants, I was chosen to be in the top 5 along with Miss St. Lucia, Miss Dominica, Miss Antigua and Barbuda, and Miss St. Kitts and Nevis. We were interviewed after that. Only 5 of us at the top 5 got an interview question, and after the results were called, I got best interview, so that's my result from the show.